This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Those 401k people who are depending, those retirees, all of that, just talking plain speak with them. Look, when this nation used to go to war, people in this country would support the war effort with their materials at home and making things for weaponry and all of that. We got to do 100% buy-in over this bumpy period. Just communicate.
So they certainly sound like they have a very sunny outlook for Americans right now. He just declared the equivalent of an Iraq shock and awe, operation in America on Americans. And the message from Fox News is make things at home, support the war effort. Except you now have a president who's waging war on you. What will I make? I guess I'll start sewing wedding dresses since, they're all imported. There is no... So that was the thing with the guy that buys and sells wedding dresses. I don't know who it was. She didn't want to say who it was, but it was a big wedding dress seller. I'm guessing it's David's Bridals, but I don't know. And she said that there are no wedding dresses made in America. There just aren't, because nobody here has a factory that sews things here. So now if Donald Trump thinks that these tariffs are going to tell the Vietnamese people or the Vietnamese factory operators to come to America because he's putting, like a 54%, a 90%. They showed some Greek letters and said, this is the formula we used. This is what we used in order to calculate reciprocal tariffs. Now, you wouldn't need no Greek formula if the reciprocal tariff was a reciprocal tariff, would you? No, you would just look and say, oh, well, let's see. Israel, they have no tariff on American imports. Therefore, the United States should not have any tariffs on, exports to Israel. But that's not the case. No. Same thing with Vietnam. Anyway, the idea that factories opened up in Vietnam, do you know why they opened up in Vietnam? They opened up in Vietnam because there were already tariffs on China. And so the Chinese that were making things in that region moved their factories to the United States. No! To Vietnam. To Vietnam. And Donald Trump thinks that putting tariffs on Vietnam are going to make them move here. And he's insane. Because what they'll do is they'll move back to China. Really the hat needs to be, you have to cross out America. And would you just scroll in there, China? Because it's make China great again. This is what is going to happen here, okay? We are not going to see this massive investment in the United States of America because of anything Donald Trump is doing. In fact, you're going to see people leaving skid marks to get the hell out of here. Not because there's any place in the world that is doing, that will do better. No, but because the environment here is so lawless. And it's so full of grift. This is why you don't buy very many things from Russia. Nobody does business there. You know why people don't do business there? Because it's lawless. That's why. And that's what America is becoming too. And so companies are just going to wait it out until he's not around anymore. And that means we are going to be left to do whatever we can do to save ourselves. So it's the hoard your bread, we're all going to die joke that is only funny now because it's true. Seriously, man, this is so unbelievable. And all the idiot had to do was what he did before. All he had to do was pretend that he made the economy great again. It was Biden that did it. Biden created manufacturing jobs. Biden was rebuilding infrastructure. Biden was, having chips factories built in Pennsylvania, for God's sake. Biden was the one that was, building things and watching manufacturing take off yet again, okay? And Donald Trump is crashing it and ruining it and darkening our days. But all he had to do was pretend that he was doing what Joe Biden did, that he had done it, just like he did with Obama. That's all he had to do. But he wanted to play with tariffs. And when he played with tariffs, you saw we lost 180,000 manufacturing jobs. We had 2 quarters of negative growth in manufacturing because of his tariffs, okay? And the only people that would tell you that we were in a manufacturing recession at that time was me. And a couple of economists for whom I, exist to pilfer information from. That's it. That was the big, warning that you got, that his tariffs wouldn't work. Then we went out and we had an election. We had a campaign. We changed horses mid-race, which apparently you never do, but we did. And Kamala ran a flawless campaign in 107 days. The Democratic National Convention was majestic. It was such an amazing accomplishment. I've never seen anybody do that much with so little time and so little, organization backing her to throw a party like that. It was just an amazing thing to see. And by 1 percentage point, not even 1 percentage point. And you know who those people were? I think I've said it enough times for you to actually process. It was people that did not vote, people who stayed home because they thought Joe Biden was responsible for a genocide. Oh, my God. It's the right-wing lunatics, okay? It's always going to be the right wing that commits genocides. It's always going to be the right wing that kills arbitrarily entire categories of humans. The right way. Donald Trump sat there and opined openly pre-election about that Israel. He wanted to build a new Mediterranean. He wanted to build a new I call it Atlantic City, which didn't turn out well for him either. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. And here we are stuck. Now we're stuck, but not completely. Because, as I alluded to before, and then I played the wrong soundbite. But it was just too funny. I had to play it. I had to play Ron DeSantis trashing Randy Fine. I mean, I just had to. I would have forgotten to play it anyway. So I had to hit it by mistake. It was the universe willing me to show you that.
He's a squish.
He repels people. But we're not done. We're not done. Because Congress can actually reverse all of this. Congress can bring it to a screeching halt. Congress can show up once and for all. The red state Congress members, the people who, like the Susan Collins of the world from Maine, where LIHEAP is a huge and important program, where he just stripped. Now, here's something that you should also keep in your arsenal of facts, okay? This is a really important one, I think. So you remember that the Republicans voted to kick the can down the road, right? They did another CR, another continuing resolution to fund the government. This time they did it till January, I think. And in that budget, that is Joe Biden's budget. They haven't legislated anything different than what Joe Biden left as a budget, right? And so that's the budget that's in play. Well, that budget funds everything in the government. That budget funds LIHEAP. That budget funds Health and Human Services. That budget funds all of the USAID, all of the things that Donald Trump and the Doge bags came and killed. All of those things are funded in that CR, in that continuing resolution. So where's the money? Where's the money? If you fired everybody, the entire staff, they did. They want to either paralyze the low-income home energy assistance program, LIHEAP. You don't want to say LIHEAP because it sounds like something Trump would be for. Heaps of lies. But they got rid of every single solitary staff member. Everybody. There is no one there. No one left to do anything. And so if that's the case, where's the money that's been appropriated to pay them? Where did it go? Or as Sarah Palin would say, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Now, this is incredibly sloppy governing. Obviously, it's Trump's governing. Or they intended to kill the program. But either way, where's the money? And this is the question nobody is asking. All of these things that were destroyed, all these 216,000 plus jobs, federal, employees, all of these jobs, they were funded. by this Republican Congress. It's Joe Biden's budget, but they were funded because they did a continuing resolution. So where's the money? This is why Congress, that's one of the many reasons why Congress has to actually wake up. You know, the House of Representatives went home. You know that they had some little, tiff between Mike Johnson and the Republicans, okay, over whether or not you could be pregnant and have a newborn, stay home, and still vote by proxy. He said no. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.